name is Carlos, and today I will be working on a project which entails moving the exhaust from the back of the dryer to the side. This door leads out to the garage. As you can tell when the door opens, it does clear, but it would be nice if we had maybe an extra inch or two. I did look up the manual for Whirlpool Cabrio, and it does recommend that we have 3 5/8 spacing from the wall to the back of the dryer. So this is what the vent looks like right now. Doesn't look good because you got a 90-degree turn there, and we want to eliminate as many 90-degree turns as we can. As you see, it comes there, and then you get another 90-degree turn there. This dryer here already has a punch out for a side vent, so I know I can change this. So this is a kit I purchased online. Got it through Amazon. So I just typed in dryer vent kit and look at your options. You'll probably need to put in the model number to make sure you have the right vent kit. And you can easily find that here. Pretty simple. Now, a little disclaimer before I get working here. I'm not a professional. I don't even know if you would consider me a weekend warrior. Amazon, it was about $50 something. However, I went with the open box option. And this is what it comes with. It comes with instructions, but don't need that. Probably will save me a couple $100, and I will not have to call a repairman out here unless I really mess up. So let's keep our fingers crossed. First thing is important. You're gonna have to unplug the dryer. That's number one, and then I'll take out the vent, the exhaust. Okay, so I got this jar pushed back from the wall. There was a water connection, and that's for the steam drying, and disconnected that. But prior to that, I did turn off the water supply and just have that hose draining right there in the bucket. I'm gonna push this out further, closer to that wall, so I have more room. All right, so in this back portion, I've unloosened the screws, about 5 of them, and I will remove this out. Okay, so I've taken out all the screws, and this should just come out like so. The next part that we're going to take off is this little metal shelf right here. I had 2 screws. I thought there was one there, but no, it's empty. It's just a divot. So I took those off, and now I'm assuming it's going to be this guy next and this guy next. Alright folks, so what I did do was remove these screws here, that one, that guy over there in the corner. So I tried sliding this off. I had a difficult time. It seems like there was a couple latches on each end holding it down. So I stuck a couple of these I don't know what you call these, putty knives. So to kind of disengage that latch. So now I will attempt to push this back and flip it up. Okay, so I disconnected these two connections right here, and then I was able to get these disconnected from this holding spot. All right, so we got her off, set it off to the side with a little help from the neighbor washer there. Alrighty guys, so I got this propped up with the help of a couple bricks. So there's a screw there in the corner that I will remove. Another one over here in the corner that I will remove. Now these two this one, and this one. I am just going to loosen because you can see this little grooved slot. So this whole part will just slide in right behind that screw. Okay, so now we are at this step. I'm going to remove corner. Then the next one would be, well, it's right there. And then same thing on this side. So there's 4 on top. And it appears that there will be 3 in the front. This one. And that one. That one. Of course, you have to have the door open for this. And so we got 4 on top, 3 in the front, with the addition of the 4 on bottom. 2 I removed and 2 I just loosened. So once I get all those loosened up, I will remove the screws and try to slide this bad boy out. Up, I believe it's going to come up top, and then I can just take it out. Okay, folks, so we removed the front portion of the dryer, which contained the door. I'm actually glad that I'm taking this apart because we have 3 dogs and we wash their blankets and we clean this filter out religiously and it doesn't appear to be catching everything because look at this. It's just dog hair all over here. Dog hair down here. So I know it gets hot in there and definitely do not want to deal with the fire. So what I'm going to do is take this portion off, get my shop vac, clean up the best as I can. I'm not sure if I'll do it after this next step. This next step will be taking this part off. I've already loosened up the screws. I may wait until I remove the I don't know what you would call this, the drum, I guess. Let's call it the drum. All right. So I may wait until I do that so I can get access to everything in the back and give it a good vacuuming. And so yeah, next step is taking this out. I've already loosened up the screws. We'll see the damage behind here. Well, not damage, but the dirtiness, I guess. All right, so I have loosened up the screws. And one thing I forgot to mention was this wiring harness that you need to disconnect. I'm not sure what that is called, but I did remove it. Wasn't as bad as what I thought it would have been, but yeah. One thing I did discover is when you take this out, you need to remove the lint trap first, or else it will not shimmy its way out. So we got that taken care of. I will disconnect that wiring harness, take these screws out by hand since they're already loosened, and try to take this bulkhead out. Once I do that, the next part will probably be the drum. This guy here with the belt, I'll have to loosen it from behind around the pulley. All right, so I have the bulkhead off. Wasn't too difficult. This is the drum up here. Belt's coming down to the right. Okay, coming down to the right, and then it drops to the pulley here in the back, and it's right below my finger. So it goes on top, then under, and then shoots up back to the drum. So since I took the bulkhead off, this drum is sagging down. So now it's easy for me to take this part off the pulley, or the shaft, if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. It comes from the motor, and it makes the whole thing turn. So let me get this off, and then once I do that, I should be able to take off the drum. So I did remove the drum with the belt on it. As you can tell from earlier, this was pretty dirty, mostly with dog hair. And I did get the shop vac, gave it a good vacuuming, damp rag, clean up some spots where, you know, the vacuum wasn't going to work, where it was kind of just caked on there. And then I also used a little bit of compressed air to blow in and around the motor. And while the shop vac was on, it was the compressed air was blowing in, the shop vac was sucking it up. So did avoid getting this room a little bit messy. So, and the next step will be removing this exhaust vent. As you see, it goes straight out. Take that out, plug that hole in with one of these. Hopefully one of those will work. And see if I can punch out that back hole. So that will be the next step. Remove this, plug that up, open that up. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. Since I was vacuuming in here, I was bumping the nozzle of the vacuum around here. So the main thing is, when you're done here, is make sure everything is plugged back, nothing's loose, because the last thing you want is to put all this back together and then it not work. Okay, so I got the side punched out. I opted for the last one in the back right. I didn't want to run any piping or vent through those wires. So as you can see, I got the back capped off. So all it is metal plate like this. With some kind of screwdriver, you manage to bring this up, and then you put a screw in that smaller hole to the left. And that's how it looks. Pretty simple. Had a bigger problem with the hole, just being a little bit stubborn, but with a little bit of persistence and patience, was able to knock it out. So now I got this smaller part, and I think this is meant for, well, I don't think it's meant for the first one. Might be meant for this one here to the left. If I just, this little extension will go next with a clamp around it, and then I will hook up that elbow. Okay, so we got the vent tube, exhaust taken care of. I wound up using three clamps. One here, I didn't need it because I had screws. However, I could see little gaps under here. Wasn't sure if it was safe to use foil tape, but I just went ahead and threw on a clamp here that seemed to have covered those holes. Idea is I want as much air flowing out of here as possible. I don't want air coming out and throwing up dog hair and getting this dirty again. So then I put one here to connect the elbow, and then another one here, right there. That's the screw for it, so it goes out. And here's what it looks like on this side. Okay, so we got the drum back on, hooked up the belt, connected the bulkhead. So I had to look back at the video to make sure I had the drum on the correct way it came off. I don't really think it matters. It's the same on both sides. But I did notice in the video that this black grommet was to the front of the dryer. This line right here is where the belt used to go. So all I'm going to do is try to put it back in place. Rotate the drum. Just kind of work it back into place. When I did latch this on, I made sure that the rollers were in contact with it underneath the lip on the bottom side. It's only 3 rollers, and then you have 3 rollers on the bulkhead, doing the same thing. So you'll know if you have the bulkhead on right when you connect it, because these may snap in the top, but if the bottom is kicked out, you know that the rollers are not catching the bottom portion of the drum. And so that's what I did. I laid on the floor, pushed up on the drum, and worked the bulkhead wheels underneath the drum, and just popped in the screws. Okay, so I got it hooked up. Here's a side vent in action. Probably will buy a little table to go over this to kind of hide that. But yeah, she sounds good. And that's a dryer vent or hood, and looks like it's blowing really good. Don't want to brag, but it looks like it's kind of blowing better than it did last time or before. And I did clean it out about 2 weeks ago with the brush, kind of scoped it. There's a lot of debris in there.